Time to stand up and get going. Welcome to Trippin. I'm Christina, and this is the Scenic Discomfort Tour. We're getting ready to go on a 27-state cross-country adventure, and today we're going to work on the inside of the 4Runner. In this video, we're going to go over a few different things. We're going to go over how I set up the 4Runner without any modifications. We're going to go over changing out some filters that save a lot of money in the long run. And we're going to talk about the stations inside of the 4Runner that makes things more functional. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with it. So because we're going to be doing such a long adventure, I'm taking everything out of the 4Runner for this prep. I do keep part of my camping gear inside the 4Runner most of the year. It just makes it a lot easier for me to be able to just throw some clothes in a bag, put some food in the cooler, and just off I go. It makes it nice because some of those extra little things that I really do enjoy having on hand when I'm out and about, it's just there. And I don't have to second guess myself. Everything is it's just set up where I need it. So now I did decide to go with a 4Runner instead of doing a van or an RV or a camper or anything like that. And I did that for resale value, keeping as much of your funds. You can't call these assets because they're really not, but keeping the value in that vehicle for as long as possible, I think is really important. And taking care of it is really important. My son clued me in to these K&N lifetime filters. They cost slightly more than going in when they change your filters out when you have your oil done. Cost slightly more than that. So these were about $65, $55 when I bought them. But now I'm going to have them for the lifetime of the vehicle. With a 4Runner, a lifetime of the vehicle, if you take care of it, can exceed 300,000 miles, which is exceptional considering most vehicles today are really only made to make it to about 125,000 miles before a major catastrophe item needs to be replaced, fixed. So I did look at a Mercedes GLE, and when I went through and I did the cross research on that, that was when I really came to that understanding that most vehicles really are designed for about 125,000 miles. Toyotas, however, you can join Toyota 4Runner groups, and one of their things that they enjoy doing is they have a brag session about how many miles do you have on your 4Runner, and people brag about how many miles they have on it. Instead of getting cringy, it's like, yeah, I'm over 250, I'm 275, and I've had Toyotas in the past. Not all of them are quite as good as they used to be. The 4Runners are still really good, so that's why I went ahead and I went with this. And being able to replace these regular paper filters with these K&N, you can blow these out if you have like an air compressor and you've just been like through dusty roads or whatever, you can blow them out. There is a special cleaner that you need to get for them to keep the ion charge in it. And you can do one for your engine and you can do one for your cab. They've been great. So these have been great, and they'll save me a lot of money over the lifetime of the vehicle. Even if you don't have a 4Runner, I would recommend doing these for all of your vehicles because it'll save money over the long run that you just don't need to keep spending. I did go in, I did an oil change on this before taking off. I went in and I had the tires rotated, checked, all of that fun stuff. And then here we're going to start putting everything back into the vehicle. I've got my cleaning station over here. I have food bins, also like spices, that sort of thing. I've got my cooler on the side. I can drain the cooler off of the back of my 4Runner, so I don't even really have to move that cooler at all. It just makes it super easy for me. This is my tire pump on this side. Below it in the green bag, I have my first aid kit. So that's all ready to go. You can kind of see too, there is a little bit of an elevation change and a gap in between the seats here. I don't do any modifications. I do have 3 rows of seats. So you can kind of see there is about a yay gap in elevation in the back there. This is just kind of showing where I can plug in. On the go, I can charge my portable battery station, so that makes it really handy. And then you can kind of see I'm starting to put the pad and stuff back here. I stuff a long pillow, actually take 2 pillows and stuff it down in there. Kind of start filling in that gap, kind of evening that out a little bit more. And then doing the memory foam. I do 2 layers of the memory foam. Just makes it, it really does level that out. I know a lot of people with 4Runners kind of run into a little bit of that challenge, evening that out. Some people build like a whole plank thing with a pull-out drawer and all of that. I'm just briefly showing that I do have a travel pack on the top of the 4Runner. Really allows a lot of extra space. I am really packed for this trip, so I have things that I'm taking cross country that I typically wouldn't have with me. So that's really helping. So this is going to be a little more crowded than it usually is, just because of the amount of stuff that I'm taking with me to go over to the West Coast. You can see here I am going through and putting in that second layer of memory foam for the bed. I do go ahead and I put in a water barrier that covers both of those pads, and then I put a quilt top over the top of that, just in case there's any spills, anything weird that happens, because I do carry a water pitcher with me, a water cooler. It does have a tendency to produce a bit of condensation, which can make the blankets kind of a little damp. So I don't want anything like that getting down into the memory foam, because that, no, we don't need any of that. And if that little water carrier thing happens to leak or anything, I just don't need to sleep in a wet bed. So anywho, I do make a full bed, sheets, blankets, the whole thing. I also do an electric blanket that keeps you warm, obviously, if it gets kind of chilly, and Little likes it too. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little schematic up so that you guys can kind of see like how I have my stations set up around the 4Runner that just make it life easier while I'm out on the road. I do have safety things that I do all the way around the rig. We're not going to go into any details with any of that, but I do have safety stations around the rig, inside, outside, on my person, and close to me physically. That, little precautions that you need to take just in case something weird happens while you're out on the road. But here's the little diagram, and you can kind of see how I keep my sanity and how I keep things organized so that I'm not having to try to figure out, well, what did I do with that? Well, you put it back so it's where it needs to be. So anywho, I hope you enjoyed the video. I do have a couple of other videos, if you didn't already see those, of me just getting the inside, the outside, top to bottom, all of that fun stuff together. And then like a little intro that's kind of pointing things in the direction of like what this channel is going to be about and what our focuses and stuff are going to be on. The video after this, we're going to St. Augustine. So the adventure begins. I'm very excited about that. So we're just like, we're so close to taking off. All right, you guys, see you in the next video.